What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this month. Yes, sirski. All right. So, man, you guys feeling better. Okay, we're feeling better here on the gang. Gang, I'm feeling better. All right. So, we got Katt Williams exposing Kevin Hart for being the biggest industry plant, basically puppet, and shows seats. And nowadays, the life that we live in, there's nothing better than receipts with your allegations. Spicy.
He had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
I have time to fact check everything he said because the world of Katt Williams is a fictional world.
After all those shady things Kevin Hart said on The Breakfast Club about Katt Williams being on drugs, Katt finally said enough is enough, and he just pulled out the receipts exposing Kevin as the biggest plant in the industry. In his viral new interview with Shannon Sharpe, Katt held nothing back, and he went off on Kevin for lying about his journey to success. Now, Katt dropped hints before, implying that Kevin took some shady shortcuts and sacrificed his principles for fame, and Kevin then tried to paint Katt as an addict and claimed Katt was just using Hollywood as a scapegoat for his own personal failures. But Katt's now dead set on clarifying why he's so convinced that Kevin would do just about anything to grab success by the horns. In his new interview, Katt claimed Kevin lied to everyone about how he made it big in Hollywood, exposed him for doing gay roles for a check, explained what club Kevin belongs to, and so much more. So let's break it all down.
That's why, do you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
You've probably heard Kevin Hart bragging about how he's the hardest working comedian in the game. But here's the thing, while he loves to talk up his work ethic, there are a lot of people who have dropped hints that Kevin's success isn't just about hard work. And Katt Williams, he's not the one to mince words. Katt is done with throwing hints and making insinuations, and he's now directly calling out Kevin for being an industry plant. To give you some context, the first time Katt suggested Kevin might have done some shady stuff for fame was back in the early 2000s. This was when people started talking about how black male entertainers get pushed to put on a dress as some weird rite of passage before they can hit that next level of fame. Dave Chappelle was very vocal about this, and back in 2006, he appeared on Oprah's show and recalled one incident when he was asked to wear a dress for a movie he was doing with Martin Lawrence. Dave said no, but the producers kept pushing and telling him all the greats had done it before.
This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And, what? A prostitute? No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it.
What's crazier is that they had a backup plan in case they couldn't break him. According to Dave, they had two versions of the scene, one with him in a dress and one without.
But the minute it was clear, I was adamant. I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. Guy comes back 10 minutes later. The whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast?
Dave explained that this whole dress thing is not really about the dress itself being humiliating, and it's more about these celebs getting pushed around and tested to see if they'll blindly follow orders. Now cue Kevin Hart. Back in 2012, he was asked about Dave's claims that black entertainers get pushed into wearing dresses, and he just laughed it off, claiming this never happened to him. And while he didn't flat out say he'd never wear a dress for a role, he claimed he'd never do anything to compromise his brand.
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
But less than a year later, Kevin showed up in an SNL sketch in a dress, and fans went wild accusing him of selling out. Now, Kevin wasn't exactly struggling before he did this sketch. However, he wasn't exactly on that top-tier level either, and he was nowhere near headlining stadiums or getting major blockbuster roles. And while some people believe it's all just a coincidence and brush off the dress situation as just another wild conspiracy theory, Katt Williams has a different take. So when they asked Katt about the whole Kevin SNL dress drama, Katt said it's bigger than just Kevin. It's a whole system at play, and Kevin was just taking his turn in it.
At the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
So after this dress controversy went down, Kevin's Hollywood status kept climbing. Katt, on the other hand, kept getting into trouble with the law, and the tabloids were all over it, trying to paint him as this crazy drug addict. But then in 2018, Katt stirred the pot again, and this time he threw some shade at Tiffany Haddish, insinuating that she too is an industry plant. Katt explained there were way more talented black female comedians who never got their shot, and suggested that Tiffany only hit it big because she's playing to the white audience.
She passed 46 female black comedians that I know personally that I put on tour who have a hard time getting a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A after they headlined 7 shows at a club for $2,500 a week.
But people like real, and that's why
is
they
that
like
what
her.
they like?
They love real.
Oh, because everybody's real then. So don't trip.
No.
Is they so ghetto? When did that become marketable? Knock it off. They like her because she want to sleep with a white man. That's why the only thing she said was, I want to give it to Brad Pitt.
Now, these comments triggered Kevin a lot, so he fired back at Katt on The Breakfast Club, claiming Katt's just bitter he missed out on job opportunities because of his substance issues.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh.
And then Kevin also claimed that, unlike him, Katt never used his platform to help other comedians.
Katt Williams, have you ever used your platform to bring the people that were under you up? You haven't.
But see, this is just plain wrong because Katt has a documented history of helping his peers.
Dang.
He just doesn't brag about it publicly. To give you just one example, last August, actress and singer Melba Moore revealed that Katt covered the $75,000 bill for her to receive the Hollywood Walk of Fame star. However, Katt wasn't going to ignore the slander about him being an addict because he's always been firm that weed is his limit when it comes to substances. So to set things straight after Kevin's words, he took to IG Live to call out Kevin.
So while he wasn't there and off making 85 milli, I was over here not making 85 milli. But it's all good. I don't mind $1 million a month and keeping my soul. And as long as Richard Pryor was there to be the king of comedy and a crackhead, they gonna continue to say maybe I am. But again, I urge you, if there's a drug you can do that'll get you Katt Williams level, bitch, you should OD on it tonight.
But in case someone missed the message, Katt just came for Kevin again in his explosive new interview with Sharon Sharp. And this time, he went all in, claiming Kevin is the very definition of an industry plant. Katt claimed that Kevin became successful on the East Coast and was then handed opportunities in Hollywood without having to prove himself there.
In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
According to Katt, whether you want to call it Illuminati or some other word, the fact is that there's a club of people who run the business, and you either join the club on their terms or you'll never reach that top level of success.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. It's a cabal, it's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't.
Katt also explained that the difference between him and comedians like Kevin Hart is that he never accepted money to keep silent on certain topics.
I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
And then Katt claimed that multiple roles were taken from him and given to Kevin just because he asked to have some scenes removed, specifically scenes that were overtly gay.
For a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, that all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem, and then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was, and acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard.
As you can imagine, fans are now rallying behind Katt and praising him for exposing how the industry really works. As for Kevin, he's getting dragged for trying to paint Katt as bitter and problematic in that Breakfast Club interview, when he's the one who has a ton of personal issues he needs to address. One fan said, given how Kevin had 2 DUIs and effed up his marriages with cheating, plus everything Tiffany Haddish had going on, this interview did not age well since he called Katt Williams bitter. And another person wrote, it's crazy watching this because Kevin Hart literally cheated on his wives throughout both of his marriages, built a substantial audience off of jokes about his own son having a developmental disability, and just generally isn't anything more than a minuscule half-baked jester at best. But let's hear your thoughts on everything Katt said about Kevin. Is Kevin really the biggest industry plant? Comment down below, and then check out this next.
Dang, Kev. Dang, my boy. Well, one thing about Katt. Katt gonna say what? Katt's gonna let the cat out the hat. Facts. That one thing about my boy Katt, man. Hey, and facts is facts. I mean, he said it. He said, have you ever seen somebody just get into Hollywood and take off so fast with one movie in like Soul Plane within like a year's time and have their own sitcom on a giant network platform? Now that's kind of crazy, because I can't recall anybody whose career has took off like Kevin Hart's in Hollywood in comedy. So Katt got the receipts, man. He got the receipts. Shout out to my boy Katt, man, for letting the cat out the hat. We on the road to 100,000 subs, man. Thank you guys and girls and women and boys for all the love that you're giving, man. I'm so happy to say I'm proud to be Relentless Lex. And there wouldn't be for you guys, there will be no me. And we need that plaque to go on the wall back there. So make sure you subbing to the channel and hitting that like button to help the algorithm. You hear it?